You're listening to the Digital Deep Dive, where we tackle the newest trends, strategies, and pain points shaping growth across the digital landscape. From Amazon and D2C to international expansion, join our host and e-commerce leaders across multiple industries for in-depth discussions on how to maximize your brands in the digital arena. Now, here's your host, Aaron Conant.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Digital Deep Dive podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Conant, and today we're going to dive into B2B and Shopify and the big changes that are taking place in that space. I'm having a lot of conversation with brands right now trying to push into B2B. Shopify has been saying that they're going to do it for a long time. And every time it seems like that, it doesn't quite get pushed over the finish line. A lot of stuff going on in the space with big commerce and what they're doing in B2B. And so just a lot of conversation out there. So I thought I would do a whole episode on this. I got connected with Denis Dyli here from Uncap and just had a couple of great conversation on what he's building in the Shopify B2B space. And so anyways, it should be a great conversation. But Denis, I'll kick it over to you. If you want to love to hear some background on yourself, the story, and then Uncap and what you're doing there. And then we can jump into more of an in-depth conversation on Shopify and what's really going to play out over the next year to year and a half and on the B2B side.
Thank you, Aaron. My pleasure. And so Uncap is a digital agency that specialized on implementing Shopify, replatforming to Shopify. We have been partners with Shopify for a decade, but last year we were promoted to a premier agency, meaning that we have been taking more of larger, complex and enterprise clients to the ecosystem. And last few years, we also have been fully focused and dedicated on B2B e-commerce, mainly distributors who are utilizing Shopify for their online store that is hybrid B2B, B2C together, or B2B manufacturers who are building portals on utilizing Shopify and Shopify Plus B2B capabilities. So in a nutshell, I have been having these conversations too with a lot of prospects and interested brands who want to utilize Shopify, and it's a very interesting momentum because I am also having these debates with other folks in the industry. Is Shopify ready? Is Shopify B2B at the point that can handle complex implementations and more grow brands that are growing their B2B efforts. So I personally have been working on at least 25 prospects, only the Q1 and Q2, and I've discovered that there is a very, very wide range of requirements and complexities that businesses need. There are some businesses that 100% are not suitable for Shopify, and Shopify maybe is not ready for them and probably will never be. But there is a huge segment of distributors, maybe mid-size, mid-market, and manufacturers that are maybe not at the enterprise level or even enterprise level that do not require the complexity, very, very big complexity, where Shopify, it's a perfect solution. It sometimes is just out of the box with everything what they need. And it doesn't even require a lot of in-depth customization. So it depends who or the industry, depends on the segment. It depends on the if the business is coming from it's already a digital business, or it's just getting to the e-commerce for the first time. It depends where the business is. So a very wide segment of industries are looking at Shopify, and they are coming with different approaches to this.
Yeah, I think that's the interesting thing is in the past, on the B2B side, the complexity carved out Shopify, right? Shopify was seen as it is an out-of-box solution for small mom and pop shops. They can get up and get it going. Then they can move to enterprise level. Requires a little bit more resources. But when you get into the complex scenarios, whether it would be something that a big commerce, Salesforce Commerce Cloud, Adobe Commerce, or Magento when I was on it, like however we want to refer to it, you had to go to a higher end platform. And a lot of people were hoping that Shopify was going to, get into the B2B space. And it seems over the past 5 years, they kept saying they were,
Right.
and then nothing really ever happened. I think they got distracted a little bit when, who did they buy? The delivery company. I forget who it is.
Yes. They
Um,
renamed to Fulfillment Network. Yeah.
yeah, and then they, that they took their eye off the ball. Right,
Right.
Deliver. I think that's who they bought. Took their eye off the ball, and then they divested and came back and focused, and everybody was like, "Okay, now's the time for B2B," and then it didn't happen. And so
Sure.
that's where I think, like a big commerce is going all in on B2B. And I don't know, it's like they saw that happen. They're like, hey, maybe now's the time. But when
Absolutely.
you say, I don't know, so let me ask the first question. So you're all in. You obviously believe that Shopify is all in this time on figuring out the B2B side.
I have no doubt about that. I've bet my business future into that. So like I'm also like I've also am so part of the community, and I am a believer on the mission more than just the tool and the platform itself. And to me, it started when I started working with Shopify again 10 years ago, because it's a platform for developers. It's a platform for the community to build on it. It's not just okay. It's just a tool out there that take it and use it. It's more than just a solution for a specific business. It allows to create multiple. There are multiple type of businesses that are building throughout the ecosystem. Again, agencies, marketing agencies, or app developers, and so forth. So I'm a believer in that kind of democratizing the whole industry, and that what happened in the D2C retail last 5 to 10 years, in my opinion, is going to happen in the B2B as well. But it's the vision that drives the whole ecosystem. It's not just how fancy the platform, how good the tool itself is, just the tool itself is. So I'm a believer, yes, to answer your question. And I also believe that, yes, I agree with you. It's Shopify, it's early in that, effort, because the B2B components are literally just 2 years old, like very, very early for enterprise platform. But they are delivering and launching new features pretty quickly, and deploying capabilities that are tailored mainly toward B2B. And even in the last edition, there were a ton of features and capabilities that were completely tailored for the B2B, for wholesale, for distributors and so forth, with like payments and so forth. And yes, there is a lot of work to be done. And B2B is very, very complex. And also B2B is very, very different from one industry to another, from one business to another. So like there is never, in my opinion, there is never going to be a platform that would be one fit for all. Like it just doesn't sound reasonable to me that will be the future of any platform. But Shopify has the ecosystem to drive that innovation with the community of app developers and with the community of agencies, to kind of like own the B2B as well within 2 to 5 years, or even,
Who is that then primary business that should be looking at it that may have not done it before? Because there's a couple of trends that are going on right
like,
now that I totally agree that this is a driving force. I'm glad that Shopify's in. I'm listening to you, and you say they're all in. They're all in. That's awesome. The couple driving forces are just overall profitability. You can't just grow at all costs anymore, right?
yes,
Those days are gone. And so what a lot of brands are finding out, right, is, man, it's expensive to do direct to consumer. Like the basket has to be above 35. It's probably going to be closer to $40 for you to make any money. And so a lot of those, companies are looking for a B2B solution because it's cheaper to ship, a pallet, a case somewhere. So there's that dynamic where a lot of brands are looking for that ability, to just do bulk shipments rather than a one-off.
right,
The other side of it is, there's a different like demographic of buyer that's out there, and aging out are the, pre-Amazon people, right? They started before Amazon was even around or a thing. And so coming into those buying positions are a ton of millennials, right? I don't know, what's the youngest millennial now? It might be 44. I mean,
Sure.
or I mean, they're in their mid 40s. They're in buying positions now,
We're getting
and
old.
and they're desiring to not use a fax machine, right?
100%.
Don't call me, right? Give me I want to I want to chat back and forth on a chat bot, and there's some really cool, new tech on that side that's popping up. But they're the buyers. They want an experience like Amazon or Shopify, where they've gone and they buy everything. They want to feel comfortable then buying B2B.
Yes.
And at the same time, companies need to provide it
Correct.
to make more money. It's like the perfect landscape for this whole thing to grow. And I think you're over the next 5 years, I think it's just good. This B2B space is going to explode. Um,
I
who's
agree.
who's the perfect like candidate for this, if you think from the Shopify side, and then who's not the perfect candidate?
Yeah. So I group in two different, I group the candidates in two different, segments. One of them that I've seen a lot of traction and I've had personally a ton of conversations, even last year, but more this year, are the distributors, the mid-market distributors that either are using legacy platforms that are very, very costly to be supported and maintained, and um, even just deploying a new, very, very minimum, very basic feature, or a sort of like a navigation or a feature that could be simply added with an app where a third party, embedded functionality may take months, and they are just struggling to like survive that distribute in the distribution world, because they are operating with low margins, so they have to kind of like be very lean. And so I've seen a ton of these distributors in the mid market asking for, is Shopify a good fit? What are the obstacles of replatforming to Shopify? What are the challenges? How easy it is? How hard it is? And also, above all, what is the maintenance cost? How much is it going to? Okay, we will make that investment. We will go to Shopify. We probably also will sort of like maybe the payment terms, payment gateway terms are going to be a bit higher, and we will sort of have to live with that because we cannot negotiate at Shopify. But we will make that transition. But what is the cost of operating and technology that will run on Shopify? And almost every time, especially when we are replatforming from a custom platform to Shopify, the cost of operation is tremendously low, and that's why we have been, very successful of onboarding new clients and also launching recently distributors in the market. And then there is another segment. The second one which is manufacturers, or even distributors who are not. They don't have a public catalog. They want to just a private portal. They may have like thousands of products with different custom prices and different offerings to individual customers with probably different sub-verticals and regions that they are serving. And they want these portals for simplifying the experiences, just you said, to like have it easier for millennial buyers to buy without having to call, or reducing, again, the friction of placing manual orders all the time for everything. We have clients that are selling pools online. We build their store, their Shopify private portals on, again, private experiences, and it works, and they are very, very happy with the progress that they have, and also how much this helped them accelerate growth, because they now can focus on outreach and can focus on business development, rather than having the sales team spend all the time on just placing orders manually or answering phone calls.
I mean, you get access to all the apps that are out there, all the development that's already been done, right? I mean, just having been on a somewhat custom platform in the past, every time you want to touch it, right? There's web dev cost. It's so much money to maintain. It's ridiculous.
Right.
Oh, by the way, they can't ever build it as good as the people are building. It's actually cheaper to just plug in an app, and even if there's a subscription cost to it, to do that for 3 years rather than try to pay a developer to go in and touch, worry about breaking something, and then constantly be behind. And again, I just get back to this fact that these buyers, I think right now they're accustomed to B2B sites traditionally being a little bit more archaic.
Right.
They're going to start hitting these new Shopify, or, it could be any platform, right? But they're going to hit these newer platforms on the B2B side, and they're going to love it. And then they're going to naturally go there because you're right. It's all about the friction, right? I can get my questions answered in 3 minutes and place an order in 5 on this platform, or wait for somebody to call me back tomorrow. Oh, they were on vacation. There's nobody else in the office. And a week later, I put it, that's going to go away. And it's going to go away if we think about, within 1 to 5 years. We're at that tipping point now. And by 5 years from now, if you have an archaic system, unless you have a very specific item that everybody needs, that they have to go there, they will start switching to your competition without a doubt.
100%. Now, there are always going to be late adopters who will always, maybe not always, but like it will take way longer for them to adapt to the, to digital world. And I still personally still got a lot of calls, phone calls, and I have to answer here in the business. So there are always, a segment of customers who may not find this appealing. But the point is that you cannot resist innovation just because you have a group of customers that are just pulling and say, you know what, I still want to use fax. I still want to send the order with emails. There are ways to facilitate that. There are tools in the market that are coming for digitalizing also orders that come through email and fax and converting them to digital orders and maybe integrating them with e-commerce platforms or ERPs. But then the opportunity here is how to tap new markets easy, how to create build content for SEO easy, how to build or how to utilize new channels of sales with a fast pace of innovation that Shopify launches these new features and new capabilities. And going back to the apps that you're referring to, a very simple idea of, for example, accelerated customer service experience platform. For example, Gorgias, which is one of the best top-notch apps in the D2C world, but it works perfectly well for the B2B as well to centralize all the customer service in one place. All the integration with social media, communication, email, phone, whatever, and creating a self-serving portal and adding the AI auto replies for, where's my order, what is the status, all the things that, again, are time consuming and, it require a lot of manual effort to be supported by the team. So, Gorgias is one click app that you can onboard literally day 2. And you have all these most innovative platform, or Klaviyo, if you want an email marketing campaign and everything tool, automation tool. They're already integrated. And I see legacy brands that don't even have a basic, they're still sending emails list once a month with templated, content, and probably they have 200,000-300,000 of contractors in their database, and they're not utilizing automation at all, or some AI tools to segment them and to make it more personalized and outreach and so forth. So I am seeing that firsthand. It's they have collateral to use, but they don't have the tools to. And so it's not just replatform to Shopify, it's rethinking how they are operating the whole business from all the angles, and that's fascinating. And I'm enjoying more than I used to enjoy this consulting part 10 years ago, because it's really, really impactful for a lot of like brands and manufacturers and distributors. And I'm not referring to the D2C brands who already are digital, but they are adding a layer of B2B wholesale. They already know what they're doing. They need the tools and the technology to enable what their direction is. But I'm referring to a lot of businesses that are 50, 60, 70 years in the market, maybe 100 years, but brands that are now in the process of digital shift. That is, to me, it's like fascinating. I'm loving it.
Yeah, but on the direct to consumer, traditional D2C brands that are looking to go B2B, they understand the platform, but what I find with a lot of them is they just don't have the time to go tinker around, and that's where I think like you would come in, right? Is like, hey, just give me the roadmap. I understand Shopify. I need to know, I understand the back end. I know how to use it. I'm completely familiar building out the B2B portal and what does that look like in custom pricing. Can you just show it to me? Help me build it, and then I'm good. But get me there.
Absolutely. And for a lot of brands, it's not that complicated. So, probably what we see most likely is Shopify online stores that probably have been built 2 years or 3 years ago, with maybe even online 2.0 stores, but outdated themes. And it's in some cases is just like updating the theme itself and enabling like the new Shopify accounts and some very little customizations in the back end to enable that all the B2B capabilities. They probably are already running on Shopify Plus, and to enable these B2B capabilities that are out of the box, as you said, price list and net terms and so forth. It's not that it requires a rebuild of the whole store or replatforming. It's just enabling native functionalities into the front end, into the theme. It's not that complicated. In some cases, what we have been doing a lot is also, while we are doing brands, D2C brands who are trying to enable, they're working to enable the B2B, they consider this, okay, we have to update the theme, we have to update capabilities in the front end. While we are doing this, let's also refresh the design. Let's also update the user experience. Let's also maybe customize a little bit the B2B experience. So when a customer logs in, they don't have to see all the rich content that is tailored for the D2C customer with maybe a lot of banners and a lot of content. They want probably very simplistic order portal. So let's customize that specifically for B2B. We can do that as well. In Shopify, we have themes, B2B templates for customers that are logged in as B2B to only see what they are assigned to see, to only view an experience that is tailored and designed for them.
Why? And then I want to kick it over to you if you have any questions. But
sure.
Why all in on Shopify? I'd love to hear so you could go the Adobe Magento route, Salesforce Commerce Cloud, BigCommerce. Shopify, maybe a shopware, but why Shopify? Why did you go all in on that? That's interesting.
So I started my career as a Magento developer. So it's not that I started my career on Shopify. I switched to Shopify when I launched, the agency, but I come from a different ecosystem. I don't recall ever in my experience, happy customers who would just go and yell that we love Magento. I've never seen any customer. There will always headaches. There will always problems, and us as the developers would also sometimes get the blame of, okay, why is the why is the website down? But I don't know why the hosting is not working. So let's call the support the host. Like there were things that are mostly not related even to the, to the infrastructure, to the platform itself, but related to the infrastructure that, client doesn't know, and, who gets the blame, who built it, right? And so always frustration. Now, fast forward, when we moved to Shopify, I don't have in over 10 years, we have launched over 350 brands, some of them D2C, some of them small businesses, some of them big businesses, enterprise, most of them replatforming. I don't have any client who is saying that I regret that migration. None of them had regretted it. Now, I'm not saying that, Shopify is perfect and everything is there is no platform in the world. There's no solution that will check all the boxes. There are always things that they wish they could have, or maybe they wouldn't want to compromise, like just out of the box. Like, I know that there are clients who are on Shopify that are frustrated, but they can customize the URL structure, for example. But that is not breaking their business. That's not something that, it's keeping them awake at night, right? And so that's why the decision to move all in on Shopify has been made way earlier. Now, why B2B is, first of all, as I mentioned to you earlier, is that I do love this momentum that is in the industry of non-digital brands going digital. A lot of them, again, businesses that are maybe multi-generation businesses. And to me, that is they have great products. Sometimes they have the best products in the market. They're not, well-known or household brands. And it's amazing experience to work with them. That's number one. And also number two, going back to what you just said, it's also, I'm also a believer that the buyer's experience is shifting, and there is going to be a huge momentum next, and I'm going in further, probably next 10 years on digital transformation for the B2B in general, where even brands that are actually operating with, other platforms, they would need to, even if they don't migrate to Shopify, they need to up their game and build the best experiences, fastest stores or portals, and utilize AI as much as possible, search as much as possible, maybe mobile native apps and so forth. So there is an innovation wave that is coming in this industry, and I just want to be part of it. And I want to, that's what drives me.
That's awesome. And when you mentioned tech, I get intro to a lot of the new tech that's popping up. And if it's on the direct to consumer side, they're almost all Shopify first. Then we'll add on BigCommerce, Adobe, Magento, whatever. They're Shopify first.
Yeah.
And anybody that's on Shopify for all this new tech that's popping up, they're going to get an early adopter advantage if they take it, because that's where everything's going first. I've been picking your brain for a while. I always like to throw it back. Any questions you have for me?
Yeah, I mean, my question is mainly related to, so in the B2B, I understand you're focusing working with brands who are D2C brands and going wholesale. But how do you see the new momentum in the industry in general, and with what's going on with tariffs and everything? How do you see the D2C brands going to the direction of becoming more so like what is the term, like they do the manufacturing, they bring the manufacturing back here, and it's just more like a unified experience for their e-commerce, but also for the operations and supply chain as well. How do you see that changing, evolving?
Yeah, it's interesting just from the tariffs aspect. Is I think, I don't know how we get a bunch of manufacturing back here for everyday items, right? I mean, I don't think we're making shoes and shirts and I think we could. I think they'd just be way too expensive, and it doesn't necessarily make sense. What I think people are going to be, it's very interesting because if you go back a few years, and this might be just before COVID, there was a huge push about the supply chain and how clean it is and your impact on the environment, and brands went all in on that as a story. And I think they're going to have to find a story to craft again if they're going to bring anything closer to shore, right? I don't know how much reshoring is going to happen, but nearshoring is a big thing. I think that shift is clearly being pushed right now out of necessity for a brand to stick around. I think one of the biggest impacts, so we'll say they get manufacturing lined up where it's a little bit closer. Maybe there's some kind of transparency on where everything's coming from. I think this AI push in the shopping assistant space is then going to fundamentally take over everything from B2B to direct to consumer. And if you're not looking at the most advanced AI tech out there right now, I had Charlie Cole on from XGen AI, which is a search engine. Basically, it's on-site search that operates like ChatGPT, where it's very conversational. I'm going to bring on a company I met at Shop Talk called Firmly.ai. And what Kumar is doing over there, where within Perplexity, you can actually make a purchase and it will, if you ask for something, if the company's direct consumer site is connected, which everyone will end up getting connected to these engines, it can go out, check inventory and deliver pricing, inventory availability, and you can buy everything within Perplexity. That's going to happen. If I think about the personal assistant, which we all have in our hand now, that's going to fundamentally change everything from direct consumer to B2B, where voice commerce is going to take over. So think about the facts. I know people will take it, right now. People just are going to want to do voice commerce, and they're just going to want to be able to talk and have somebody respond back. And the interesting thing is these learn more and more about you and your business over time. Me personally, as I'm using it, it learns more about me and my person and my family and everything. It's going to learn more about your business as you're using it. It's going to enable you. And anybody who's not getting out ahead of that right now is just going to be left behind. I'm shocked at how fast it's moving and how much new tech is coming out there, where it's fundamentally changing the back end, and it's for a front end experience that people are just getting a taste of now. Right. There's going to be a tidal wave of people who jump in and just have their personal assistant. I want to be able to ask how many meetings I have today. I want to ask where the kids' volleyball or soccer or football game is. Can you help me get a hotel around there? And it's going to happen. And all the capabilities are there. It's exciting. I mean, for me, my previous company, we did a lot of B2B business, and I was on Magento. The B2B experience was okay. It's funny because I launched on one version and then a new version launched, and I went to the web dev guys, why didn't you just tell me to go to the new one? They're like, we didn't know. I did blame them. It's so funny. So I'm apologizing to the web dev people out there. The agencies that take it on the chin for, naive people like me back in the day. This is back in 2014, 2015. As you were saying, I was getting kind of sheepish. that was us, because you just don't know. And I think there's just a lot of education. There's a lot of fear in that space right now about change. Getting back to tariff, nobody likes the idea of these tariffs causing chaos, and people don't like unknown. Absolutely. And that's where we're at right now. So there's fear there. They also fear changing their current customer experience. But those owners are aging out. The next generation is taking over, and millennials are in buying positions. If you want your company to be around, this is this is an adaptation you need to make. So, yeah, awesome. well, my friend, this has been an absolute blast. I'm stoked for Shopify on the B2B side. I know they're helping so many brands out. A lot of brands are very happy with them. I'm stoked for what you're doing over at Uncap. For those who are listening in, reach out to Dennis, reach him on LinkedIn. Is it just uncap.com? Like, where's the
Uncap.com, that's the domain.
Yeah.
We will be also attending Shopify B2B online. So if anyone will be visiting, I'll be there for 3 days discussing with everyone about Shopify, B2B in general, other platforms which are awesome, and competition is great. And I think competition drives innovation. So it's good that we have multiple players upping their game. That to me, it's great. And innovation, as you said, is just it's a fascinating momentum for the whole industry because you wake up in the morning and see something cool every day. It's like, wow, like that tool. Let's see how we can incorporate that in the tech stack, or let's see how we can enable that to our clients and see how that fits to their operations and so forth. So every day I'm more passionate. I've never been more stoked and more passionate about what we are doing, not just us as an agency, but the whole ecosystem on the last decade. Like, this is, to me, it's great.
It's awesome. It's awesome. And the passion shows. So, Dennis, thanks for being on the episode today. And with that, we're going to wrap up this episode of the Digital Deep Dive. Thanks everybody for listening in.